Hello, hello, and welcome back. So today's video, we are going to be talking about how to upload and embed an image link from your blog to turn into a discussion board on Canvas. So this is going to sound maybe a little bit more complicated than it actually is, so I'm going to just walk you through it real quick. So essentially, I am just going to pick at random one of my classes for this demonstration. So as always, my organizing technique, I always organize through modules. So we're going to click modules down here and we're going to see our lovely unit modules for our projects. Now, as we notice, we have similar kind of organization. We always have a week duration and the project title. In that project, we will always start with our first major assignment, the thing that you are taking pictures of and turning in to me. After that, you have some kind of tabbed or kind of spaced out kind of content. This is either going to be lectures, demos, handouts, good stuff like that, or readings. So all that stuff's going to be listed always under our project and all that good stuff. So in that unit or in that module block, you will always have something called a discussion. Now, a discussion is kind of making up for our peer-to-peer critiques that we would normally have in person. This is a very, very important part of your grading turn-in process. So please make sure to read carefully on each project sheet the requirements for the discussion turn-in. It will always range depending upon the class and the particular project. There will be kind of a unilateral strategy for most classes, but it's going to range a little bit. So always make sure to read the turn-in section and submission section on your project sheets. Once again, that can be easily found towards the bottom of your project sheets. I'm just going to grab one real quick. Since we're on Art 105, my intro drawing class, I'm going to grab the first sketchbook project or sketchbook exercises and just scroll to the bottom to keep this all nice and even. All right, so project submissions, work, and turn-in. So this is the section that I'm referring to. You have your normal standard. This is the stuff that you do for me. This is how you turn in your blog for me to grade. And this is the discussion board section. So notice how it's just offcast to the side a little bit. It's tabbed over. This way, you guys kind of know that this is all under the project submission, but this is its own kind of thing. Make sure that you read your discussion board's questions and submission process for each and every project. I know I'm repeating this. I know I sound like a broken record. That's because it's important and I want to hammer this in. There's always going to be two parts, so make sure you're reading it. This will give you, the first part will give you kind of the timeline that you will be turning it in, how many days you have to submit it or reply to your students, when the due date is for this, and all of that good required process. Number 2 is just the qualifier. So it talks about how questions will change. So you have to read the questions that are stipulated on the turn-in discussion page. So all that good stuff. Usually there's going to be always some kind of, like I said, turn-in area where it'll give you a due date for this down here. So make sure just to read that and have a good idea about when those discussion boards questions are due. Okay, so we have got, we're going to go back to our Canvas site. Once again, we're clicking modules. We're scrolling down to the appropriate module where I have my first discussion board, this sketchbook assignment, and week 1 through 3. So it's always going to have a similar labeling. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I can see a due date listed here for it and the points allotted. Since this is a discussion portion, this is going to qualify as a critique. As I mentioned, any of our student-instructor meetings or critiques in this class are like our exams. So they're a big deal, they're important, you gotta show up, and yes, it is a part of your project grade and your attendance/participation grade for this class. So here is the basic kind of template. This is a little bit more of a minimal one. There might be more questions. There might be a little bit more of a process, but this is essentially the bare bones of what these things will look like. So I'm going to walk you through about how you embed an image from your blog site. We are not going to be linking our whole blog in. We are rather going to be linking certain images from our blogs. This way people don't have to scroll through, get confused, get lost, whatever. So please be aware of that and please keep up those standards and all that good stuff. So what I'm going to do as a student, I'm going to simply hit reply. It's going to open up a kind of empty text box, and I'm going to have some prompts here. So the big thing that we want to pay attention to is this embed image icon. It's got a nice little mountain, a little sun in it. It's nice and framed here. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and it's going to pull up a kind of web screen like this in the center of my page. Then you're going to go to this thing called URL. You're going to hit this http:// dash image whatever. So you're not really going to mess with anything down here. You're just going to plug in the information here. So what I'm going to do if I were a student turning this stuff in is I'm going to go to a blog. This is one of my student blogs here. I'm just pulling this up as an example because this is a pretty good blog. Shout out to that student. Good job. I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these images. So what I'm going to do, now this is going to range a little bit maybe per student, but essentially you're going to click on that image. So click on the image and you can double click or push control click or right click. And when it says open image in new tab, we're going to go ahead and select that option. Notice how it just opened it up in a new tab on our window. And it's going to take me to a full blown up version of that image. What I'm going to do here is essentially copy this URL for the image. So notice how I'm not copying the blog website, but I'm copying the particular image associated or attached on that blog. So I'm going to go ahead and push copy, Command C or Control C. Command C if you're working on a Mac, and a Control C if you're working on a PC. It's a lot of C's in there. Okay, anyways, so we're going to go back and now we're going to paste this into this URL section right up top. I'm going to push my scroll or my mouse on this kind of box. I'm going to push Command V for command paste. Since I'm working on a Mac, if you are working on a PC, go ahead and push Control V or paste it in there by simply pushing edit and paste here. Okay. Okay, then what we're going to do is upload, and boom, we've got an image. So some of these, attachments are going to maybe take a couple of photo attachments. That's fine if that's what the project requires. For this assignment, we've got a lot of different images that we're looking at. So there might be 4 or 5 images attached for this one submission. You're going to push post reply, and then as a student, you're going to go down your list and you're going to look at some of these images. You're going to be able to reply and add feedback. So that's where you would go in and read these questions and respond to these questions that are related to this image. So that's one of the reasons why it's really important to have good documentation and things that are really clear and understandable for us. So this is going to be a good example for us. Go ahead, write out your feedback, respond to the questions that's listed in our discussion board up top, and then post reply, and you're done, right? So it'll show up here. I didn't really post anything, but if I have feedback, right, that's something that I can do. Just go down the list and start prioritizing students that don't have any feedback. So that's going to be another important part of this, and have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed this demo. Hopefully it explains everything and all that good stuff. So enjoy, have a great day, and goodbye.